What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we are down at Aaron's workshop again. A few jobs to do on the Audi. I have a crank position sensor to fit. I'm hoping that that's the cause of the slow crank. So if it's not, it's done. That's fine. It doesn't sound like a starter motor issue, but we'll rule it out. I'm going to clean it up, clean up the terminals, clean the grounds. I'm hoping that when I've got the battery disconnected, it will turn out the airbag light that came on when I put the newer Audi steering wheel in, because the one that was in here was disgusting. I've also got to replace the vacuum lines, because the ones that are on the car, I can only imagine are the same age as the car, so you're looking at 18 years. We also have some LED headlight bulbs to fit. So yeah, without any further ado, guys, let's get into the video.
I gave you my heart.
Now, obviously in the last video you would have seen we done the EGR delete. Now I drove home. The first thing I noticed when I got in the car, I wasn't getting a vacuum reading. When I was pulling forward, I was getting boost, but it wasn't a lot. So I retraced my footsteps, obviously, as you do. Took the EGR delete off, put the EGR valve back on. In the process of doing that, I'd noticed that one of the vacuum lines had come off of the N75 valve. My own fault, I pulled the line, slid off. Now, this is another reason I'm changing the lines, because they're very old, they're covered in oil. I'm now in the workshop with Aaron. He's just gone out to the car to get his lunch. First job we're going to do is the headlights. Just try and give the car a chance to cool down a little bit. The engine is particularly warm, and I don't really fancy burning myself on the turbo. Now, the headlights I've gone for are off of eBay, and they are Night Eyes, just H7 LED bulbs. Now, I will do a comparison shot as opposed to a before and after shot. I've got the first headlight out ready to put the bulb in, so I'll get that in now, and then we'll do a side-by-side shot just to show you, what it looks like, and if there is an actual noticeable improvement in output, not just visual. So also on the jobs list today, as I said, be fitting new vacuum lines, £10 off eBay, 3 meters, Samco Sport, even came with little clamps, so that's a nice little touch. And then the crankshaft position sensor, that's probably going to be the most challenging job, purely because it sits down underneath all this. So I need to remove this, and the plug's there, and I then need to route everything across to where it goes, put the new one in, route it back. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't prove to be too difficult, and obviously hopefully it does fix the issue as well. Now, we'll see, there's the headlight already out. For those who don't know, I didn't. To take these out on the B6 at least, you have a screw here at the top of the headlight, and then there is one here and one on the corner there, which go there and there. Now, you do need to take these headlights out to get to the low beams. So I'm hoping you guys can pick this up. I did have to make a slight modification to the bulb to get it to fit through the hole. Now, obviously, there's the new LED bulb. I do need to polish up my headlights. So, and please forgive me if you've got photosensitive epilepsy. My side light bulb is having a rave. And obviously there's the original halogen bulb. Now, I think it's pretty clear the difference there. Now I'll spin around and show you what it looks like. As far as output goes, you can quite clearly see the LED one on the wall there. I mean, you can see the halogen, but obviously it's not as bright. As I said, with the other side, I had to make a slight modification to the headlight. This will not fit through the back of the projector or low beam housing. Why Audi have made it so small, I don't know. So they are, I think, the same headlights as the ones with the xenons, just different wiring. So what I've had to do is literally just grab it like that. This one isn't going to come off so easy. Give it a little bit of pressure, and that's come off. A little bit of glass left there, which I'm probably going to cut myself trying to get this out. There we go. And now that will fit in the back. So, same as any normal headlight bulb. Make sure you get it in the right way round, because otherwise your headlight beam will be off. Make sure it stays flush whilst you put the clamp in. I mean, I know this is all pretty basic, pretty obvious stuff to a lot of us, but there are people out there that don't have much savvy when it comes to car stuff, so it might be worth just recording this. Now that's in, obviously put your cover back on, put the headlight back in. Really, I should test that this works beforehand. That'd probably be the sensible thing to do.
I would.
Given that I have to remove my headlight completely just to fucking put a bulb in. So we'll test that quickly. Should be a massive difference now compared to what it was like. All working?
Yeah.
Happy days. Are my high beams both working?
Yeah.
We're going to get on with the next job, which is going to be, I think, the vacuum lines. As I think for the crank sensor and the starter motor, it's going to be mainly under the car. And obviously the turbo is still quite hot, and I don't fancy burning myself. I might regret actually taking this pipe off of the turbo right now, because, like I say, it's still hot. So we'll get on with that. Once I find my tools over there. To get this off, for anyone that doesn't know, obviously you've got your normal clamp, but there is also a bolt either side of the clamp which holds it flush to stop it blowing off the turbo, which is actually quite a good design, quite a good idea, except for the fact the bolts are quite awkward to get to. I dropped my spanner down in the under tray the other day, so we're going to try and avoid doing that this time. I've also bought a new clamp for this because obviously that's a bit ghetto.
Cable tie life.
So hopefully that'll seal that up a bit more. Yeah, so instead of standing here chin wagging and wasting time, I've got a bit of oil coming out of there. I might have to look at putting the proper clamp back on that. I don't know why there's so much oil coming through this. Like I said earlier, the turbo feels fine. I've got no smoke coming out of the exhaust. The car's not losing oil, so it's definitely something I need to look into. Obviously, I've had it carbon cleaned. It's just one of them things, I think. I mean, I know with a diesel you're always going to get oil coming through the intake system. Yeah, you can't really avoid it. So it's just a case of I need to work out whether it's the normal amount or whether it's too much. Obviously this goes straight down to the intercooler, so that could explain why the intercooler is full of oil. But, you know, one job at a time. I don't want to swamp myself with jobs because I'll end up losing interest. So anyway, I'm going to get this pipe off, I'm going to stop rabbiting on, and yeah, we'll go from there. I'll give you a little update as to what we've done so far. Obviously, as you know, we were working on the vacuum lines. A bit more involved than I was hoping, to be honest with you. I will show you what we've done so far, what we've got left to do, and what needs to be done, well, as far as I can see, to be able to get access to the bits that need doing. So guys, as you can see, hopefully, the lighting isn't great. I'll grab this one a minute. So down in here, I've done the N75 valve. Plumbed all of them in, apart from the one that goes to that T-piece there, because obviously I need to change that line. Now, this comes up here to this first sensor here, and then there's a T-piece off of that one that goes to the sensor just behind it. If you can see that there. Now, unfortunately, to get access to that, I do need to remove them, which means taking the headlight out again. Or at least that's the only way I can see that being done. So I'm going to crack on with that, get that done. I did have to unscrew the little vacuum bore here to gain access to this, because it is at the bottom on the back. It's just as well anyway, because I wanted to check for any cracks on the bottom, which there aren't, fortunately. And yeah, so I'm going to get on, get these done, and then we'll move on to the crank position sensor. Right then guys, just going to give you an update. I'm having a 5-minute break because it's starting to stress me out. So obviously I've done all the vacuum lines, that's all back together. I can't remember if I've showed you that yet. Headlights are all back in. We've moved over to the crankshaft sensor. So in order to do this, you have to remove your fuel filter. So had I known that that was actually the fuel filter, I would have changed that while I had it out. But remove your fuel filter. If it hasn't been changed recently, you may as well buy a new one and just swap it over. It's another job off the list. You then need to remove the little case that holds the fuel filter in place. Let me get a light in there a minute. As you'll see, and then the crankshaft sensor. It took me a while to figure out where it was. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Let me see if I can get the light down here. I don't know if you can see just below the oil feed pipe there. I'm assuming it's oil feed. If that'll rest there. Nope, I've just dropped the light in the under tray. Whoops. Basically, just below this pipe here, there's a sensor. I've got the bolt out. Now I'm just having an issue with wiggling it out. I know I said that we were going to try and cover a bit more of it, but it's taken us way too long trying to cover it all and do the work. Obviously, Aaron's been getting on, tidying up the workshop a little bit from the last time we were up here, getting rid of some rubbish. Just trying to make it a bit more presentable up here, to be honest with you. Obviously, he films his videos up here as well, and a tidy workshop is easier to work in. So, like I said, I'm just having a 5-minute breather because I'm losing my temper with it, and the last thing I want to do is cut corners and do something wrong. So, once I put the fuel filter back together, I'll show you how to, well, not so much remove it, but I'll show you what needs to be removed off the top and how you remove it. Just in case it's something you want to do in the future. One thing I will say is I do like the fact that the fuel filter is there and not underneath the car with the stupid plastic clips that always break as soon as you take them off. Alright guys, so I need to make an apology because I completely forgot to film putting it all back together, but I've got the new crankshaft sensor in. Everything's back together. I'll flip it around and just show you, like give you a rough idea of what you need to do to get the fuel filter and that out. Fingers crossed, like literally, not just fingers, everything crossed that this is the problem, because there's one less thing to worry about. All you need to do, right guys, there's a little clip here, squeeze that end together and pull that way, and then that'll pull that out. Then you lift these two hoses here have got like a little bit in the middle, lift it up. It has got no ring on it, so it is a little bit tight. Just lift it, be patient, because otherwise you'll break it and you'll need to get a new one. Undo these two Jubilee clips, pull them off, be careful because obviously they've got diesel in them. And then just twist left and right as you pull up. Oh, there's a screw there, you need to undo that screw, which loosens the clamp, and then just twist it up and then it will come out. Again, be careful and have something to stand it in, because it's not flat on the bottom, and obviously you will end up with diesel everywhere. So now, moment of truth.
Hopefully it starts first time, otherwise it's the expensive bit you need to fix, eh?
Well, potentially, but there might be a stored photo code. So, we'll see.
Remember, you haven't properly serviced this one yet, so you might have a bit of fouling.
Right guys, so that's the end of today's video. As you can see, it's got a bit dark now. Did have one slight issue. I put the one-way valve the wrong way round, and well, I had no boost. So I've checked all the vacuum lines, checked all the plugs just to make sure everything is connected. That's all fine. I've switched the one-way valve round, and now just doing a diagnostics just to see if there's anything. I've got to go for a drive now anyway, so I'll soon find out whether that's cured it. If not, I should be pulling it apart again and finding out what I missed. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to go over and check out Razy TV. Follow what he's doing with his ST180, and yeah, till next time, cheers.